Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Just want to update everybody on some new things which are happening at Phantasma Paranormal. Now, we got a few new locations coming up for some different investigations that we've got going on. So I'll update everybody on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook on those. And also some new videos coming up which we're testing out at the moment with the SCD2 application, which from ghostunderapps.com, that was developed by Anthony Sanchez. Now, you may have seen this app been used by Hope Paranormal, Huff Paranormal, and various other paranormal groups which use this application. I've been looking forward to using this one for such a long time now, and it's in the testing phase right now, just tweaking some things also when using the portal as well. And talking about the portal, getting some new equipment for that, so I'll be developing with the ZT Lunchbox Junior and with noise reduction pedals, with reverb, with delay, voice control, and various other things. So every time I get a new piece of equipment to do with the ZT Lunchbox and to do with the new Portal 1 building, I'll test it out in a video and update everybody, and so you can see the progression of how to build a portal, what to get, where you might need, and hopefully it helps somebody out there who wants to develop one. So anyway, this video is not going to include a session, it's just going to be a talk based on my personal experience and on my opinion on Ouija boards and spirit communication in general. So hope you enjoy. Hey guys, welcome back to Phantasma Paranormal. It's Jack here, and I just want to do just a more kind of like an educational video where I just kind of talk to the camera and talk to you a little bit about Ouija boards and spirit communication, ITC in general, instrumental trance communication. Now, when it comes to Ouija boards, there is the big myth and the stories and non-factual evidence that these things are evil and that they'll bring in demons and you're going to die and they're going to hurt you and blah, 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 blah. And I'm here to tell you that that is just simply not true. I've been using these things for such a long time. Deanna has as well. We've used them separately, we've used them together, and you've seen in multiple videos that we've done when we've used this board, and we've not had one single negative experience ever. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people that are saying, don't put your hands on that, Jack, don't touch that because you're going to bring in demons. Well, the thing is, why am I going to bring in demons? There is no proof that it does bring in demons. Now, these things were originally sold by the Parker Brothers, I believe, and they were originally sold as kind of like a toy for kids to use, and also they were sold as a dating game in the 60s and 70s, I believe, as for couples to like play this little game to each other, and it's meant to sort of bring them a bit closer, I guess. So that's originally what these were intended to use for. But then when you saw films like The Exorcist come out, those kind of films that showcased the Ouija board, and somebody like the writer decided to pick this and decided, oh, this can be used as a plot point for the film to show that it's evil. And then this was used. There was a story about the boy who was wanting to communicate with his grandmother, I believe, and who became possessed by using one of these boards. Now, eventually, over time, that has spread, and it's been shown in other movies that there is always the Ouija board which is going to hurt you and try to kill you and hurt your family, and then it all kind of goes to pot. Now, I think we're pretty much proof that that is just simply not the case. Like I said, we've been using these for so many years, and for somebody who lives with these things, I can tell you for sure that these things are not evil. I've never been hurt, never had a negative experience. I've never had my head spin around, my eyes roll on the back of my head and threaten to kill people, and I go crazy and end up with scratch marks all over my body and become possessed and all that kind of stuff. And that's just simply not the case. It's not true and it's not factual. And I'm going to say, in my opinion, probably 9.5 out of 10 of the videos on YouTube that you see of scary Ouija board experiences and that kind of stuff is just simply acting, and it's fake, it's not real, because these things have been spread through when people tell campfire stories, and then you're told stories, and then bits get added on to the story, and then it gets misconstrued, and then people end up generating their own ideas, and they end up getting so consumed by what movies tell them. And movies are really influential in letting you know what a movie thinks about it. And it can really influence the way you feel about these things. And movies are really good at selling you stuff which is just simply not real. Now, I can fully say 120,000% I believe these things will not hurt you and you will not die from these. I've had people tell me, oh Jack, you should be careful when you're using Ouija boards because you'll be possessed by the devil and demons are going to come and get you and that you're going to bring in demons into your house and everything. But why? How can I possibly bring in demons? If you really break down the Ouija board, if you really break it down, all it is just a piece of wood with some numbers, some letters, hello and goodbye, and a planchette. That's really all this thing is. These are man-made, some of them factory-made, and they are simply made as a piece of wood with some numbers and some letters on it. That is really all it is. Now, if I'm going to get spirits coming through, spirits wanting to talk to me, I've had more spirits come through and speak to me using something like this, like a PSP-7, than I ever have using a Ouija board. Now, with using a Ouija board, it is so much harder for spirits to even use one of these, and the reason why is because spirits do not have a physical body. They do not have a brain, they don't have a heart, they don't have a body, they don't have any physical parts to them. So to try and use their energy to move something physical, like a planchette, is really insanely difficult for them. 9 times out of 10, whenever I've used a Ouija board, this thing will not move. And we've done so many sessions when it barely moves at all, and it's not moved at all in a lot of cases. So it's really rare you actually get any kind of amount of significant movement or messages on them. I mean, we could switch on something like this or switch on an app, and the amount of times we've had a spirit say something before it spells out on the board. And there's videos of that on our YouTube, and if you go back through various videos. Now, when you use something along the lines of this also is quite easy for spirits to use. You may have seen these on various shows and with other paranormal groups. It's a K2 meter. Now what this K2 meter can do is that it can pick up energy. So when it picks up ambient energy, it's so much easier for spirits to use one of these as well, because it's believed that their energy, all they have to do is this little machine can detect the energy and detect energy fluctuations. So these are really good, and they're not just used for that, they're also used for different things like electricals and stuff like that. So these are really good at detecting energy outputs. So if you're ever wanting to get into this kind of work and you're really going to be serious about this, I highly recommend getting one of these, as I use one of these all the time whenever I'm doing spirit communication, as they can be a really good indicator to let you know if spirit is around. And this is very easy for them to communicate with. Now when you use something like a PSP-7, this is so much easier for them to communicate, because this is the hardest method of communication there is, period. This requires physical energy to move something when they don't have a body. Whereas this, I am so much more likely to get spirits come through a spirit radio like this, because they manipulate sound to speak. This is so much easier for them to use. And people always say, don't touch that Ouija board, but they never say, don't touch that spirit radio, or do not touch that app. They never say that, do they? I seriously think that back in the day when films like The Exorcist and Amityville Horror and stuff like that were coming out, that if these were around and the portals and things like that were much more sophisticated and they was more readily available around back then, I reckon that there would be more films on this, not this. So the writers, directors and all those films, they needed something to choose, so they just chose this because it looked the most evil. And that's simply it. Now, for people that say that you're going to be hurt and killed by one of these, again, I'm living proof that these things will not hurt you, and they are not evil. Now, I know there's going to be some people out there that say, it just hasn't happened yet, Jack, but send me some evidence that these things have ever hurt or killed anyone. Send me some real factual documentation. Send me real evidence, because I've seen none as of yet, absolutely nothing. So like I said, if you really break these Ouija boards down, they are simply a piece of wood with another piece of wood with some numbers and some letters. It's really all it is. But yeah, people go crazy online when they see me using something like this. But they don't say a word when I'm using something like this, when spirits are freely communicating using something like a PSP-7. And yet nobody says a word about this, but yet for some reason, they talk about this bit of wood. And that doesn't really make any sense when you truly break it down. So say if I switch on this PSP-7 now. So I hope you can hear this. Just turning up the volume. Okay, so I'm going to set the sweep rate. Hope you can hear this. So spirits are more likely to come through something like a spirit radio when you're using this kind of thing. So probably all you can hear, if you can hear this, is the static coming through. And then when you're in a focused meditative state and when you are ready to do spirit communication, you will get more replies through this than this ever will. Now these things are amazing. I will always continue to use one of these. I love spirit radios and I love communicating with them, especially for something like a portal is really quite helpful as well. So, in conclusion on these, is that these things are simply not evil, and if you ever get one of these things, they are simply a very hard method of communication to use if you are taking this seriously. Now, if you fear this work, and if you really truly believe in all the lies that have been spread through movies and films and novels, if you really do fear it, then your mind is going to play tricks on you and you're going to convince that you're talking to demons. But like I said, you can go back through the amount of videos on this channel and I've not had one single negative experience, and neither has Deanna, and we live healthy, happy lives together. I'm healthy, I'm fine. I'll continue to use these and I'll continue to film my experiences with these because, like I said, I've never had one negative experience and I don't expect I ever will. Now, I'm not saying that these cannot bring in bad spirits, but at the same time, when a spirit has come through before and has told me they are a demon, I don't always believe everything that spirit says to me, because they could be telling telltales and they could be telling lies. Because I believe the majority of the time that there's good spirits and there's bad spirits. Like, whenever I get a bad spirit coming through, I'm not going to automatically assume that it's a demon. I think a bad spirit could just simply be a spirit that was a bit of a dick in their past life. So, sorry about that language, but that's what I firmly believe. You know, there's no good without bad. There's light, there's dark, there's heaven, there's hell, there's black and there's white. And that's just simply the case. But there is an area of grey in between. Now, like I said, I'm living proof that these things are not evil. That really all they are is a piece of wood with some numbers and some letters. And that is pretty much it. Now, you can make one of these things yourself, and they're quite easy to make. And you can use ones out of very crude materials such as paper, card, and that kind of thing. But always remember, it's going to be very difficult for spirit to use one of these. So if you really are serious about this work, I recommend using maybe any two of these, as it's going to be so much easier for spirit to manipulate sound than it is ever going to be to move something like a planchette. Now, obviously, when you use these things, you have to take it with the same respect as if you're using any of these. So use the same respect, and make sure you have respect, let spirit know what you're doing. And when they say you got to do this ritual, that you got to close it down properly and everything, or you're going to open up the portals to hell, I would not concern yourself with that, as that's just simply not the case. It's just what you've seen in films and what you've read in books and what the church has told you, which is just simply lies and not true. Because this is a really beautiful thing that we do, and I really do love what we do here at Phantasma Paranormal. And like I said, we'll continue to use these, but always be respectful, always treat spirit with the best amount of respect, and if they're really good spirits and you build on that connection that you have with spirit, they'll be respectful to you. Like, I use these all the time at home, and I use this all the time at home, and I get really great results. And I've had such positivity in my life through doing this work with the paranormal, with ITC, instrumental transcommunication. And this is something that we'll continue to do for as long as we can, because we really do love what we do. But like I said, Ouija boards, I don't think you have anything to worry about whatsoever. But like I said, always build on your connection, always try and be respectful as much as you can to spirit, and do your best you can to progress with your passion on this if you're really going to be serious about this. And don't believe everything that you see about Ouija boards, because like I said, if these existed back then, and if they were as high-tech as they are now, then people would be saying, don't touch that spirit box, but they probably would not say a word about this. So don't believe everything that you see in movies, and don't believe everything that you see in novels. And like I said, if anybody still doubts me, send me some real proof that these hurt people and kill people. Because I've seen no evidence, no documentation, nothing. So, like I said, we're living proof that these things will not hurt you. And I encourage you, if you are looking to do this kind of work, do it with the utmost respect, love, empathy, care, compassion, and always show love. Because, as Steve Huff says, love is the key. So thanks for watching this video. I hope this kind of helped you. Hope this kind of settled some minds, and hope this kind of answered some questions that people might have about the Ouija boards. And I hope you liked it.